Right. So last week, Sujita, we finished Unit 22.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, today we are going to start Unit 23, Selection and Use of Resources. All right. Now we will try to cover up 2 units today, as these are not very much complicated and they are not so lengthy. Right. Is it clear to you? Can you read the
Yes.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So selection and use of resources. Now we discuss about aims of the lesson, lesson planning, sequences of lesson, how to make, and we discuss about the single lesson plan, sequence of lessons, stage-wise, stage aims, and all these we discussed. Assessment, previously we discussed activities, what type of activities we can do for assessment, formal and informal. Now, today we will go and now we will talk about the resources, selection and use of resources, okay? Unit 23, consulting reference resources to help in lesson preparation. How do we consult reference resources? Reference resources are all the sources of information about language and about teaching that we can refer to for help in lesson preparation. So what is sources? Resources, these are the sources. These are the things which we use as to get the information about the language and about the teaching as well. And time to time we can refer to it when we are doing the lesson preparation. They include reference materials such as dictionaries, grammar books, books and articles in teachers' magazines about language, supplementary materials in a course book such as phonemic chart or list of irregular verbs, and websites on the internet. Nowadays, website of the internet is also part of the reference resources, which usually I tell you people to Google it. Why? Because that is an active source of the material which we get from the internet. And there are authentic websites which they give you authentic material. So where were we? Internet. Reference resources may also include people. Now, people, your colleagues, your seniors in the same subject they are teaching, they have experience, they are also reference resource. For example, the head of department or colleagues who teach foreign languages or other subjects. We consult reference resources by knowing where we can find the information we need and how to find it. There is a lot of information available to teachers, and it's important, therefore, to develop the ability to compare reference resources and decide on their quality and usefulness. Now, this is the point you have to note it down. Here, quality and usefulness. If you search you Google the resources, you will find tons of resources available there. On the same topic, you will find a lot of reference. Like as you type in the Google, so many pages open to you. Out of that, you have to analyze that, the quality of it, and whether it is useful for your teaching style and your students and the topic which you are teaching. So you have to go through that and see the usefulness of it. All right. And the quality, that at what standard they are. So that you have to decide on it. Let's go a little bit ahead and then we go topic one by one. Checking the form and use of grammatical structure. Now, when it comes to the grammar side, so how we check the form and use of it. Some grammar books are written for teachers and have very detailed explanations. Teachers' grammar books are different than the common one, or there is a category for the student as well. So student one, they give what is needed at the time of, like, according to their age and the school. So that kind of, they don't go in much detail for that. Likewise, one is a common reference book of the grammar. But there are, for the teachers, there are different grammar books, which are very much in detail. And that's needed for the teachers to have a good idea what they are teaching. Because as a teacher, we need to have a very good idea of the topic which we are teaching, that to evaluate it in a different ways. Grammatical point of view, vocabulary point of view, language use point of view, all right? Commonly then comparing it in the social life, how we are using that language. So teacher need to have all this knowledge about it. Then they will be able to figure it out what is needed for the student. Right. Where is it? Yeah. Other designed for learners and different levels use simpler language to give essential information about grammatical structure. Now, whenever you are teaching grammar, always try to see what's the level of the student, and always to be making it simplified, easy to understand. Because itself, grammar is a complicated area. It is confusing area, especially when you are seeing that one grammar rule can be applied at one time in a situation, and in another situation, the same grammar rule is exempted. So you have to be very clear to what extent you need to teach grammar. And it depends on the level of the student's ability of the language level, plus the age category. Primary student one way, lower secondary, higher secondary, after the school, professionals and adults. Okay, so all are taught in a different way. Grammar books for learners can help us to see what information our learners need about grammatical structure and can provide us with suitable ways of describing, explaining grammar. The easiest books to use are those organized in alphabetical order or which have detailed index table of contents. Some grammar books also include practice exercises which teachers and learners often find useful. So it depends what type of grammar book, but there is a detailed content is given. The topic, you can see some extra additional material. Nowadays with the grammar books, there are CD packs. CD packs are there. In the CD pack, easily, I had one over here, and advanced grammar was there. The Oxford Press, they had sent it to me. So it is very useful. There is a CD, you put that and you will find a lot of extended exercises in it. And you can download it. You can copy and paste, and you can make nice worksheet about the complicated topics. Games and quiz, all these sort of puzzles are there that you can arrange it, you know. So you, as a teacher of the language, you people need to have your own uh, material with you. So nowadays you can easily save it to your pen drive and keep it, or keep it a copy of hard copy. You take the printout and keep it. So those things, as a language teacher, you need to have on different topics, on tenses, on the parts of speech, pace your voice, on the use of the language, okay, vocabulary one. All these you can easily manage, because that's what is your whole resources as a teacher. You will get something from the school and the institute as well. But that's not always that what is given to you from the school side or what is given to you from the institute would be useful for the student. So your student level might be different. So you may deviate from that and you may use a different resources for them. There it will help you with the stock you have with you personally. Okay, so my suggestion would be that as a teacher, you need to have your own stock of the material on different topics. And you can easily save it to the pen drive and keep it in your laptop or computer with you. These things need to be used in that way. Make a file, save it to your Google Drive so it remains with you. It doesn't disappear from there. Right. Next is some more recent grammar books are based on huge electronic collection of example of spoken and written language in use, corpora. These books now tell us how people really use the language. And there are a lot of grammar books are for the practical, the spoken way, how this grammatical term is used. In the spoken way, they are also given that the example of it. The grammatical way, it is also there. And when it comes to the practice, so a lot of things changes. Okay, so those things in the latest grammar book, they have taken care of those things. Then the next one comes checking the spelling, pronunciation, and use of lexical items. So now the next resources, now the first which we talked about was the grammar. Now is the lexical side. As you know very well by following the TKT program that language is taught not one way, there are different things in it. Grammar is there, lexics is there, function is there. Then further you have skills in it. 4 skills are there, which we did in part 1 of the module 1. So that's what is the whole language. It's not one item, one unit to teach. There are different areas. And different areas have its own knowledge and information, which we need to teach in different ways than one from another. Okay. Now coming towards the lexical items. Advanced learners dictionaries are very useful for teachers to use themselves as they include example sentences, as well as information about the form and use of words. Most of these are also available on CD-ROMs and online on publishers' websites. As I told you, in the CD-ROMs they are available. Plus, there are a lot of websites are there, even the Cambridge one, the Oxford one, Macmillan one, Pearson one, different websites where they have registration for the teachers especially, and they help you a lot in that. Common things you can easily download. They send you the new research on that, something new in the language. They send you the articles. So different things are there. You need to be kind of member of those online one, you know. So like before, people used to get the registration with the different what is it, libraries, and then they could go to the libraries and look for the books, and then they could get the books from there. Nowadays, it's so easy with the latest these technologies. We can get the things just in the comfort of our house, and we have access to a lot of libraries around the world. We can just become a member of them and register ourselves with them, and we can get those information easily. So we need to, as a teacher, take advantage of it and use those things, these modern resources for ourselves, which will help us a lot in updating our knowledge. Plus, we'll see around the world what's the trend going on in teaching the language or any other subject. So don't stick to what is only in your institute or school. Expand your information knowledge beyond that, and it's possible easily. Right. So advanced learners, where were we? Yeah, here. So there are availabilities there on the website also and CD-ROM also. Bilingual dictionaries. where the word and its meaning are in different languages, like Sinhala to English or Sinhala to English and Tamil. So, including electronic dictionaries are useful when learners are looking for a word that they don't know in English. But these dictionaries usually give very little information about how to use a word. So it's a good idea for learners to check the words they find in a monolanguage dictionary, which is like English to English, where the word and its meaning are in the same. Where the word and the meaning are in the same language. Learners' dictionaries like learner grammar books can help teachers to find the most suitable ways of defining words and giving example of their use. All languages change over time. This we have discussed in detail in the module 1. Languages changes over time. And because English is so widely spoken, so in so many parts of the world, it changes faster and more frequently than many other languages. In English, changes happens very quickly because it's international language and different parts of the world it is spoken. So that's why changes happen in English because of the widely spoken in the world. Um, so new edition of dictionaries are published every few years. That is why the new edition of the dictionaries are available because of the new changes in that. The most recent edition of the monolingual lingual learners dictionary include many new features such as information about collocations, synonyms, antonyms, and related words, indications of frequency, notes, warning letters about common errors, and extra example on CD and DVD-ROM or on a website. So nowadays, all these things you get the information in one place about the different things like the features of the new language, information about collocations, like collocation used to be a separate dictionary before. Now in the new edition, they have put all because as we are going ahead in this age, the concept is that the information about multiple things should be done in a one. That is the concept, not separate. So a lot of dictionaries try to provide different information about the language in one dictionary. Before, dictionary was not giving that much detailed information about the language used. But now the latest one, they provide all these. Right. There is also a wide range of special dictionaries, dictionaries of collocations, of idioms, of phrasal verbs, pronouncing dictionaries, dictionaries of culture and dictionaries of common errors, dictionaries of synonym, picture dictionaries for young learners, and dictionary of different curriculum subject of secondary and university students. You see how many variety of the dictionaries are there, but hardly we know only two type of dictionaries. One is advanced learners, one is the basic one. Am I right? Sujika,
Yes, sir.
is it like that? Sujika, I think you were somewhere else and I asked suddenly the question.
No, sir, I gave an answer.
All right, okay. No worries. Let's go to the next topic, and it is developing your own understanding of language. That is the thing which is very much important as a teacher for you. Although the student also need to have this, but as a teacher, you need to have your own understanding of the language, your own approach to it, and try to create the same thing in the student as well. There are a number of books for teachers which aim to increase our language awareness, our understanding of how language works, and our awareness of how to teach language. They often include tasks that we can do by ourselves or with a colleague, and detailed explanations and comments as well as answer keys. So we need to build up our own understanding of the language. What are the things we need? Like if I give you a simple example, as a teacher, we don't need to teach the whole grammar. There are a few areas in the grammar we need to have information and knowledge about that, and that's what is needed mostly for the student. We don't need to go unnecessarily with so many things to teach in the grammar. Now that information, that understanding you need to develop by doing the classes and see how much grammar you are teaching. Then practically, when it comes to the use of language, how much out of that is used. So we don't need a lot of things to learn, in order to use it. But there might be some of the things which we cannot use in practical life, but we need that for the examination purposes. So you need to segregate these things. If you are teaching, for example, in a private language institute, there the teaching will be totally different than the school. And if you are teaching in the school, so you need to know what's the requirement, how much grammar, language, lexis, these things they need to learn in order to get good marks in the exam. Not like to teach the whole thing, which is not needed for them also. So this thing you can analyze appropriately once you have your own understanding in the language. And that's what you need to develop as a teacher. Next one is anticipating learners' difficulties. This we have discussed when we were doing the lesson planning as well. When we are planning a lesson, we need to think about the difficulties a learner will be facing when I'm teaching this. So reference material about learners' errors can help us anticipate particular language problems that our learners might have. Many difficulties with vocabulary or grammar are the result of interference from L1. Remind yourself, interference of L1, where our mother language is interfering with the second language. As from Sinhala and Tamil, a lot of things we use, a lot of expression we use, which is directly translated from our language into English. And now, the thing is, here in Sri Lanka, when we speak to each other, we can understand. Why? Because our background is from the Sinhala or the Tamil. So that expression, when we change into English, here the people can understand. But that may not be the standard expression to express about that particular thing in English language. So if we happen to talk to somebody from other culture, whose background is not Sinhala or Tamil, they will not be able to understand it. You understand? So this is what is the thing you have to see, where the L1 interference is there for the student, where they are making mistakes by using their own language and translating that into English. Right. Next one is looking for new approaches to teaching lesson and new classroom activities. If we are looking for new approaches or activities, or if we want to give our learners something different from their course book, there's a wide range of supplementary materials. Materials you can use. What supplementary material? Materials you can use in addition to or instead of your course book, focusing on grammar, vocabulary, and particular skills. There are also very many teachers' resources books with ideas and materials for all kind of lessons, as well as a growing number of free websites with articles, ideas, activities, and teachers on different teaching topics. Now, in your teaching, you need to take care of this area that how to put up the same topic with the new trend in the language teaching. And you cannot get the new ideas in the language teaching when you are not looking to the reference material which is updated, the new edition of it. If you are not related, a member of the different international language institute or the organization, so you will not be updated. If you are not reading the teacher articles and there are teacher websites, so you may not be aware of the new approaches, the new trend, and how to teach the same. So you will be stick to the old way of teaching. That's you need to change in order to give variety in your teaching. Supplementary material is very important thing. Why? Because supplementary material we need once the course book is not providing enough practice for the student in a particular language area, then we take the help of the supplementary material. Supplementary material, sometimes it is provided by the schools and the institute, and sometimes it is not. You have to look for it by yourself in the libraries or from the websites. And that's what I told you in the beginning, that you need to have your own stock of the supplementary resources, which you can replace time to time and teach the language in a new way. All right. Next one is finding out how to use the material in your course book. Teacher's book provides suggestions about how to use the material in the course book. Many teachers' books also include suggestions for alternatives to the procedure in the course book, as well as explanation of answers, exercises, and extra resources. Things teachers use support their teaching in the classroom, such as homework, tasks, activities for further practice. Many new teachers' books provide extra materials such as supplementary worksheet and progress tests, photocopyable, and choice of easier or more challenging activities. So sometimes you get the teacher guide. In the teacher guide, it is explained or suggested that how to use the material in the course book. For example, you have a course book, then for that course book, you have a teacher guide. Teacher guide will not only tell you how to use this material, but additionally with this, what are the activities you can do more, in which way. So there might be in the teacher guide some different kind of more exercise on that particular topics. There might be some photocopyable activities and tasks which you can take, and some different kind of quizzes, and some different kind of tests, short tests and progress tests. Likewise, it is provided usually in the course book, teacher's guide. And sometimes they give the reference to the website where you can download, like this in the Cambridge Oxford one, they give you a website code and you log on to that. So you can download a lot of material which can replace the material which is in the course book. Course book material, sometimes it might be difficult, it might be very easy, it might be confusing, not the whole, some topics, some areas of it. So then you need to add something supplementary material to take. And for that, the teacher book may guide you that to teach this topic in different ways, how you can teach. Okay. So that was about the teacher's book. Let's see on the next page what we have got. Right. Next one is here, getting advice about particular lesson or teaching materials. Now, colleagues who have taught at the same level or used the same teaching material may be able to offer useful advice as with the suggestion in the teacher books. A colleague's approach may not suit us, but may help us to think about our own planning. Now, you see, there might be your senior teachers, colleagues who have the experience of teaching the same topic or the book for a long time, so they will have their own approach of teaching. It's not necessarily that you have to exactly follow the method or the teaching method that senior teacher has used for her or his own way. But if that may be a kind of guidance for you, it may give you a good guidance. You can take some ideas from there and you can add in your teaching methods and find out, because ultimately what the goal is to find out your own teaching methods. That will make you an independent teacher and a successful teacher, rather than copying always from one, and that's what we usually do. We don't put efforts from our side to build up something. There are some teachers who put a lot of efforts, and that's why they are they stand outside from the crowd, but not a lot. Maximum of us just, we depend, okay, whatever the material is provided, the course book, so we teach the same way. The students have to learn it or not. But those who are passionate about the teaching, you know, so these suggestions they can apply in their teaching methods to become an independent teacher and a successful teacher, to make the student understand in different ways, right? So here the colleagues can be a guidance, but it should not be a complete depending on that, what they say. Right. Next one is key concept in the teaching classroom. Some grammar books and dictionary may contain clearer explanation or examples. So when checking a language item, we should try to look at more than one reference resources. So do not depend on one. Try to check comparatively other also and find which one would be more suitable. Language changes, a new word appears and people stop using some older words, grammatical usage, to changes slowly over time. One way to keep up to date is to use the most recent published grammar books and dictionaries. As the language changes, a lot of new term comes. So in order to update yourself, better to use the latest edition rather than sticking to the grandma's method, or it was my grandpa's book. That is okay to keep as intact. Like in 60s, they were using this, you know. But for the language reference, when you want to update yourself, you have to go for the latest edition. Next is dictionaries on CD and or DVD ROMs have many extra features such as practice activities, collocations, searches, and audio and recordings of the pronunciation, which, as I told you, usually with the latest edition, CD-ROMs and DVD-ROM, they are available, and they have a lot of extra tasks and activities which they tell you how it can help you with the main course book. All right, so have you understood the topic? Any question for me? All right, so how to use the resources and different thing we discuss in it. So I hope you have got it. And if there is anything you want to ask or something was confusing, just let me know, then I can clear it up. And if it is not, then we were going for a short break, and I will send you another link because I will stop this recording, and then we will do the next unit. All right? Is that okay, Sujika, Nadira?